Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Daniel Umstead, host of the RNG radio show. And today's guest that I have with me, not quite the chef that you've been expecting, but definitely has some delightful treats to talk about today. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I would love to introduce my guest to the RNG radio show, Sheena Schuler with Sneaky Treats. Sheena, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. So tell me about these sneaky treats and what they're all about.
Well, Sneaky Treats kind of evolved out of a need for alternative medication.
Okay.
Sneaky Treats are a gourmet cannabis experience. So a little backstory for me, I had lost my fiance suddenly. And my body just completely shut down. Like I couldn't eat. I lost 60 pounds in like 2 months. Just the stress shut everything down.
Right, I can imagine.
Excuse me?
No, I was saying I can imagine. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
weight loss and stress, anxiety.
It was a really crazy time. And because of connections with like having cancer and things in my family, my mother knew someone that was a cannabis grower.
Okay.
She suggested, well, try these, supplements and things like that to get me back into being able to eat and, things like that. Because at that point, I couldn't even keep water down. So that was what started me to look at how food and medicine can come together. Because not everybody wants to smoke. Not everybody wants that stigma or, all of the dirty pothead or, you want to walk in a room and smell.
Hey, man, you got to try some of this.
Right. Or, you're walking down the street and you get the Lion King,
Pennsylvania.
Right.
Hey, Disney, don't sue me. Don't sue me, Disney.
Exactly. Just super loud in the pocket, right?
Right.
Because I have a background in the culinary industry, I'm a trained pastry chef, I was sous chef, I've worked in restaurants, and food is just something near and dear to my heart. Growing up, food is love. If I can't have anything else, I can feed you. So putting these two ideas together kind of was what Sneaky Treats was born out of. Being able to help chemo patients and people with different medical ailments where you're getting your medication through the ingestion of cannabis, but you're having a great meal. It's something you can share with your friends. You don't feel like, oh, I'm taking these drugs and, it's just like I'm eating some really good food. And especially for those that can't have an appetite, you're eating what's going to give you an appetite and you're enjoying it. So it's not, it's too much for me. It's like you're just really having a good time and the high is a happy accident afterwards.
Yes. That's awesome. So it's medicated, happiness all together. Shoot, I'm about to tell Peter Pan, I don't need you no more. So now, for folks that want to get more information as far as Sneaky Treats itself and learn more about not even so much for your recipes, but some of the foods that you do, how can people go about following you or getting more info?
The easiest way to follow me would be on Instagram. At Eat Sneaky, EATSNEAKY. I post a new menu every month. I post both savory items and sweet items because different palates like different things. Mm-hmm. And there's, photos of my work. There's customer reviews. There's, sometimes I'll host events, private dinners, because I like to run it like a speakeasy. If you don't need to know, you don't need to know.
I hear that.
So sometimes I'll, kind of drop little things out there and have private things. So it's fun. I really like to play with the idea of it's a hush-hush situation that you want to be a part of. Mm-hmm. And hence, that's one of the reasons it's Sneaky Treats, because you're not supposed to know, number one, that it's happening.
We're not even having this interview right now. This is all just a dream.
It's a figment of your imagination. Number two, nobody needs to know your business. If you're feeling some type of way, you just need pop a little candy in your mouth. You're on the subway, nobody knows, but your body will let you know what's happening.
Right.
And they will sneak up on you. Don't give me the edible's not working. Yes, it is. Just wait.
I've heard some stories and other people's testimonials like, bro, I woke up, it was Tuesday, and I was late for work. No. I know it's not that deep, but I do know that it's typically a longer lasting high, and it's better for those. I want folks to understand, like, hey, listen, it's for those that enjoy it recreationally, knock yourself out, to each his own. But for those who are actually going through some type of stress, anxiety, or even as we talked about with the chemo, being able to just have a brownie in the morning takes care of you throughout the day, rather than having to take injections, or just the stress and anxiety of having to get on the phone with your doctor because you're feeling a certain way between 1 and 2 o'clock in the afternoon because the medication that they did give you that was man-made is not working the way that it's supposed to, or it's wearing off because your body's rejecting it. So
symptoms worse.
yes, exactly. So with the cannabis plant, I know that it's doing that much more to your body as far as stabilizing and keeping it calm. Because majority of the time is that if we're feeling that anxiety and stress and, don't want to move forward with anything at all, like that holds back your healing, So if you're at a peaceful state of mind, and if you go to Instagram right now and look up Eat Sneaky, or right after this, you just check out the links below in regards to Sneaky Treats, you can find these solutions. So now, Sheena, how long have you actually been doing this for?
I've been an entrepreneur in the culinary industry since '08. I've been working with culinary cannabis since about 2015.
Okay.
Sneaky Treats as an entity has been flying under the radar for like about 2 years.
Okay.
But as laws are changing and people are becoming more accepting, I'm looking forward to be able to share it with more people.
Okay. All right. Cool. Awesome. And then what you call it, for us, the reason, biggest reason why I wanted to do the show was to definitely have a voice for people. But with everything going on with the social injustice now, I'm realizing that it needs to be more of a voice for our people. So eventually I'll definitely get to everybody, but right now for our Black and Brown community, I definitely want that voice heard. But from you, one question that I do want to ask you is that with the cannabis industry, is there any space for Black and Brown brothers and sisters to even get involved in this?
Oh, most definitely. And I feel that even if there wasn't space, we need to kick down some walls and make space, because we're a community that has been so heavily damaged by, this aggressiveness toward marijuana use or cannabis use on a legal standpoint. It's almost as if we have to reclaim this and take it back, even if, just for
all the way. Dude, I mean, we all got our different sides, but I got you.
So even if you don't want to deal directly with the cannabis itself, say you don't want to sell, there's a booming business behind it as far as even just administrative options. I deal with it culinarily. If you say you never want to touch cannabis, you never want to ingest it, you could sell paraphernalia. You could, even though the laws and the process with opening dispensaries are stringent and it's purposely deterrent, because I know where I live, you have to have a train of paperwork and $20,000 to even begin the process of applying to open a dispensary.
Wow.
Not to say that you're going to get it, just to put in with the application.
Right.
Now, they have laws on the books saying that, X amount of dollars or X percentage of the industry is going to be set aside for women-owned businesses and minority businesses. But if they're taking their time passing the laws in the first place, these funds are never actually allocated to the people that need them. Whereas people that don't necessarily look like you or I are the ones making the money and getting all of the accolades off of an industry that has been detrimental to people that look like you and I.
Right.
So I think we need to make a point to jump in with both feet. Even if you can't do it on your own, collectively, get some people together, pool your money, really research what's going on, because there are avenues that we can get into, even if you have to be the rebel and kick down your own door and make your own way, but it's absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary.
Awesome. I love that. And, with new ages, or we're, I should say, in the news, we're seeing new positions, or new us in different positions. They had the young lady from MIT who was the first African-American woman to be, what you call it, the first African-American woman to actually sit in the position of student body president. We had the gentleman from Princeton University, and it's 200 plus history, or I think 100. It was more than 100 years. But even with that young man, that he became the first African-American valedictorian coming from such a school as Princeton. So seeing all these different positions and, people taking over new roles as CEOs, seeing us more, which is great. But I still feel we're like in this revolutionary period, not saying that we're going out colonial style as far as shooting around with guns and everything like that, but revolutionary as far as we're making that new change, we're making that new pattern. One question I want to ask you though is, why must a person be authentic in doing it though? Why can't they just copy off of, the people that have done in the past, and why do they need to start anew with it?
At the end of the day, the only thing you truly own is yourself. It doesn't matter how much backing you have. It doesn't matter your upbringing. Those all help become the self, but the only thing you have at the end of the day is you. So no, you have to be able to come out boldly. You have to be able to step forward in exactly who you are in whatever space that's in. You might try to copy somebody else and that's not your lane. So you're forcing an issue that's not for you. And in that forcing, you're more likely to either burn yourself out or come to some sort of failure because it's not in alignment with who you really are. Nobody has to like everything you do. No one has to accept everything you do. But if you're standing solidly in who you are, it always comes back to you. And if you look at anybody that's been truly successful, all of the names that Prince and Michael Jackson and all of these legends, exactly. It was always those that said, this is me. Take it, leave it, like it or not. This is me, and I'm giving you my soul. And people resonate with that. And even for me with my food comes from my soul. I'm not just giving you brownies and cookies. And yes, I make them, but nobody's going to taste like mine. I'm giving, there's so many things that I'm giving you because, number one, I know where the pain comes from. I've been on the other end of this medically, several different ways. But I know what that joy also is. So every time you taste something that I'm creating, I'm giving you a piece of me. And that's what this life is really about. We're here to give each other what we can to make each other better. And that, I feel like that's the only way we're going to survive any of this.
I love that. I love it. Now, back to actually the brownies and cookies, because I feel like we're getting a 2-for-1 interview, and I loved it. I love your input and insight on this. But back to the cookies and brownies and the good stuff. What has actually been some of your top dishes or your top products that people just keep coming back for, like they cannot do without?
Jesus, there's so much. My brookie, it's a hybrid chocolate chip cookie and chocolate fudge brownie.
Okay.
That's
wipe my mouth real quick. Go ahead.
Like I said, I do sweet and savory. So like this month's menu, I've got baked mac and cheese, I've got jerk chicken, I've got barbecue bacon cheeseburgers, I've got vegan dishes because I myself I'm plant-based. So I try to cater. We all like what we like. Everybody should be able to enjoy what they do. There's so many things, and that's one of the reasons I change my menu every month. Okay. Number one, I get creative ADD, and I'm just like, I want to make everything.
Right. No, I understand.
And secondly, I like people to have variety. And from a competitive standpoint, if everybody's always getting the same thing from everybody else, I'm not going to give you what everybody's giving you.
Right.
I'm going to give you some options you haven't had before. So, yeah, there's a lot. If you look on my IG, you'll see there's everything from pizzas to curry chicken pockets and veggie dumplings and yeah.
Wow, I might just be going on there just to steal some recipes. I'll probably have to take out the main ingredient, but ultimately, definitely, they already sounding good, and probably because I should have ate before this interview. So I wasn't going to get hunger pains and a hunger strike, but I'll be fine. Now, For those that may live outside of the normal area of where you're at, because I'm pretty sure you don't be sending jerk chicken through the U.S. air package. Where are you locally based, so folks, can get in contact with you to pick up the products?
I'm in New Jersey.
Okay.
There are a lot of things that I have found ways to ship.
Okay.
So just basically, you would contact me with what you're interested in, and I'll let you know what can be. I do tailor a lot of my menu to things that can be shipped, but some things are just better fresh out the oven. So,
Gotcha.
But yeah, I do ship as necessary.
Now you service all of New Jersey, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. And then I'm assuming like outside parts like Philadelphia and then, parts of New York. Okay, cool. I'm just, personal reasons. And, I got a friend who got a friend, cousin Nook. I know he was interested. So I just want to make sure he got the right connection.
You know what? I'll travel. We can do a little private thing at the house. It's great. I got no problem.
Cool. Awesome. I love that. And then what things do you foresee on the horizon? I know that you said you've been an entrepreneur for so long. And then in addition with Sneaky Treats being around, still in its baby form, where do you foresee your business growing or you yourself going by the end of the year or even this time next year?
Honestly, my grand scheme for Sneaky Treats, I want to be your favorite edibles company.
Okay.
Like, I want to be that person, but in a general sense, I really, if you haven't kind of heard throughout the midst of the conversation, I'm very big on autonomy, authenticity, and community. Mm-hmm. So I want to really bridge the gap into the community on a larger scale. I'm working on an initiative where called the People's Pride Project, where we teach, starting with food, because food is my base. We all got to eat, right? So I'm starting to teach people how to grow their own food, how to prepare it, how to preserve it. And I will, eventually teach them how to infuse their foods, make medicines, things like that, because I feel like we have to hold ownership of our own existence.
Yes.
So that we're not constantly relying on outside sources to, funnel into us and then wonder why things aren't working. We need to be able to stand on our own 2 feet. So that's something that I'm very passionate about. And I want to be able to integrate my areas of expertise and my areas of knowledge to be able to give it to other people so that they can do the same for themselves. I feel like we should all be able to stand on our own. And only when we can stand on our own do we help the community become better.
Gotcha. I'm with that. And honestly, the main purpose of the show, I want people to get their voice heard. In addition, allowing the community to be built up to where it needs to be at. So definitely 100% agreed on that. The other question I want to ask you, and actually it's just a side plug, where can they go, to find information again about Sneaky Treats one more time for us?
On Instagram, it's at Eat Sneaky, EATSNEAKY.
All right, cool, awesome. And then in addition, for the folks who are looking to get their business started, whether it be with the cannabis industry or them just, taking that first step into becoming an entrepreneur, what advice would you be willing to give somebody?
My first thing is stop and think. Because we're all like, I have this great idea, let me run with it. And while that could be the $1 million idea, think about, is it something you really like doing? Is it something that you actually want to do? It's not just about making money. No matter what you do, the money will eventually show up. Like, money's currency. Currency is energy. You're putting it out there, it's going to come back to you. But make sure it's something that you're enjoying, because you'll put so much more of yourself into it and provide a better product or provide a better service. Then look at what's out there and say, okay, just because, you want to make makeup and there's a $1 billion makeup industry, what is special about you that makes yours different than everybody else? What's that little extra seasoning that you got that separates you from what everybody else is doing? And I feel like when you figure those things out, number one, the ideas will just pop up.
Right.
And then you can kind of figure out what vein is best for you to move in. Some people move best solo. Some people need a team. I like to think of where do I want to go and then work backwards as to how do I get there.
Okay.
That kind of works for me, because if I start at the beginning, I'm following the yellow brick road, and then I'm following here, and then it's kind of doing this thing. Whereas if I'm like, okay, I want to be there, how do I get there? It makes it a little bit easier to think about.
Gotcha. No, and I love that planning, you know. It's similar to those who are looking to lose weight. It's similar to those who are looking for that job, and, you know, or even those looking to come out of college and what they want to be, you know. For those that are looking to become a doctor, they know that they have to have a certain number of years of schooling to get there, and even their specialty. And then even more so, you know, saying like, hey, do I want to be a doctor where I have my own personal practice, or do I want to be a doctor where I have a team? So, I mean, your advice, I'm hoping people hone in on that and realize like, hey, definitely start at your goals, start at where you're supposed to be at, where you want to be at, and then get to the point where it's like, all right, well, what do I need to do on day one? What do I need to do on day two? And go forward from there. So, Sheena, I cannot thank you enough for being on the show, talking about sneaky treats and going on Instagram, because the folks should be doing that already right now. If you haven't already, just stop the interview. Just stop. I know you're looking at it on YouTube, Facebook, where have you. Stop the interview, go on Instagram, put in the Instagram handle, Eat Sneaky. That's 2 words, all one word, back to back, right next to each other, EATSNEAKY, to get some of them edible treats, because I definitely want to see what this brookie looks like when I go on that page.
It's
so.
like this. It's beautiful.
She's like, it's beautiful. It's all
I
mine.
shocked myself with that one. I took it out the pan and I was like, this is the most disrespectfully delicious looking thing I might have ever created.
Bravo. Then bravo. Then bravo, Sheena. Then bravo. So, Sheena, I'm looking forward to having you come back on the show. For the folks at home, tune in Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. on Facebook Live to check out the show. Or for such interviews as these, be sure to check out the replay on YouTube. Sheena, thank you again so much for being on the show. I really appreciate having you.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, all right, no problem. It was a little faded out, Not a problem. I'll be talking with you soon, Sheena.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Fleslet on the beat.